So I want to welcome everybody to another episode of Magic, Mystery, and Medicine. And I'm continuing my series of talking to fellow healers, fellow practitioners of alternative and metaphysical medicine in order to introduce this whole amazing community that we have here locally, Vancouver Island, mainland, pretty much wherever anyone wants to come from, to come and sit and have a conversation and talk about what it is to be a healer, what brought us to this place. And so my guest today, Teresa Klan, Teresa Klan, is going to be sharing some of her experience of her journey, some of the work that she does, and we're going to share together how it is that we crossed paths as well. So welcome and enjoy.
Yeah. Hi, Megan. Thank you for spending some time with me today.
You're so very welcome. I am looking forward to this.
Of course.
The connection that we had when we first met at the Intuitive Arts Festival this past November, to me it felt like a flutter.
Yes.
And I was so honored to begin my weekend at that incredible event with you coming over and saying, I love your book and your oracle cards. I'd like to distribute them. Would that be okay? Would that be okay? Yes, that would be amazing.
Yes, here, you have them right now.
Yes.
Yeah, I've seen you at a couple of events, and I always appreciate, you just seem to stand in your truth. Like energetically, that's what I perceive and pick up. So I thought, because you're busy, you're popular, so people are around the table. And this last show we did in early November of this year, I had an opportunity to talk to you, and I just felt so grateful. To share that time, even though I'm not enrolled in any of your courses at this point.
Okay, we'll talk.
I'm sure that will, I feel like you teach just by being. You radiate this energy like a star radiates energy without even trying.
Thank you.
So from one practitioner to another, just thank you for being you.
Wow, you're welcome. Thank you for seeing me.
Yes, yeah.
And in the conversation that we've already had, as we've been setting things up for this chat, I'm seeing within you more than, of course, I was able to see at the event. And there is such a passion that I can see that you have for the work that you do, for the way that you facilitate other people's ability to find these tools that can help them along that journey, and just the way in which you show up in the world with your purple hair and your beautiful whales and your lapis lazuli. And I know already from the conversation that we've had over the last couple of minutes that we're going to have some fun.
Yes, absolutely. And passion, absolutely. I just came into life that way. It's just there. And if I'm going to be doing something, anything, making breakfast, I need to believe it's the right choice for me.
I love that. That's the same way I go through the world. And for me, it's a very intuitive process. And I feel like more that I trust my intuition, which is really myself. I mean, your intuition is not separate from you. It's your whole being that gives you those intuitive hits. So the more that I trust that, the easier my day is no matter what's going on. Because it allows me to think in a different realm than those people who I've met who are not connected to their intuitive self or to their body self or to all the different, to a wholeness.
Right.
When we're not in a place of wholeness, it's hard to hear our own wisdom.
Yeah, that's very true. And I think you probably be a natural at the heart math. Modalities. I did some training with heart math, and what I'm hearing you say, it's about having your brain and your heart in coherence.
Yes.
And as they would say, then that's where the truth can be connected with fully.
Yes.
And it's a beautiful thing. So it's not about just meditating, relaxing. People receive training for this who are first responders, and they use it in the moment.
Yes.
When they're on the job, so that they do have more of a whole brain access. And the multi-beings, it's sort of like the Buddhists say, you look at your life from behind your eyeballs, in observer mode.
Right.
And another teacher says, well, you can live with life suction cup to your face. Guess what? Reaction. Or you can respond.
Yes.
And when we do what you're saying, your natural ability there, then things are easier. There's no pressure. All that ego list of perfectionism, high standards, expectation just goes away because you're able to see the beauty
That's right.
that exists in every moment.
Yeah. And it's interesting that, we talk about this as alternative healing, metaphysical healing. It's really not that woo-hooey to talk about having a connection between the brain and the body, between the heart and the gut,
Right, yes.
between the soul and the human being. These are concepts that are actually very mainstream. It's just about the language that we use. And I think that actually ties quite beautifully into this whole conversation we were having just before we started about oracle cards and tarot cards and other tools that we use to access that place of receiving, being open to receiving, whatever it is that we need to hear in the moment that's for our highest good. And we do that through the words. And one of the things that you and I connected on when you came over and said, can I be a distributor of your book and your box set, is that you have created a space in which people can access these tools. And I'd love to hear more about that and what got you there.
Right, okay. Well, the Polaroid, for one part of this answer, is I was commercial fishing decades ago, and I don't mean to be gauche. I knew I was going to get some money, so what did I do with it?
Yeah.
Do I go back to school? Do I travel? Do I buy a place? And a little teeny part of it was maybe I open a metaphysical store. So I did a dream incubation that night, what works really well for me.
A dream incubation?
A dream incubation.
Okay, quick rabbit hole. What's a dream incubation?
That is while you're in bed, hopefully when you're in alpha brainwaves, like you're just getting relaxed, but not asleep yet, you set an intention to get an answer. You ask the dream maker. And for me, it was like, dream maker, what am I supposed to do with this money? And maybe say it 3 times. It's, you find out your own way of yeah, that's right. And then ideally you get a dream within the next few nights or that night. And I did. And I woke up and, I dreamed I had a metaphysical store. And I was doing sales and I was helping people and I trusted. I just went for it. I got up, I wrote my to-do list in 10 minutes. And I opened a store from the dream to getting home a week later from commercial fishing to opening up. It was a month and a half.
Wow. Because you had an actual brick and mortar store.
Yeah, at that point I had a brick and mortar store. And I ran it for 7 years, and boy, did I learn a lot about me, about running a business, about personalizing your business, but not taking it personal.
Right. Yes.
And I made some mistakes, and I did some fabulous stuff there. But it was just time, so I sold it after 7 years, raising my daughter, who's now moved out. And so in February, I thought, I love selling oracle cards. I'm good at it, that I could teach people about cards, like in the moment, do a sample, quickie little reading, help them to how they can identify what deck works for them. And maybe they buy one. It's about helping guide them to their truth, which we touched based on earlier.
Right. That's right.
Yeah. So in February, I picked up the phone, started connecting with old suppliers, and so I'm back again.
That's so exciting.
And it is exciting, and they remember me, and I'm thrilled. Hi, Teresa, let's get together, have lunch, But they're not in Victoria, of course. They're farther away. So now I have access to all these wonderful products, right? Including yours, the Heart Journey.
I'm so happy to be in such good company.
Oh yeah, you belong there anyways.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, you belong there anyways. And so at shows I offer sales of like oracle cards, spiritual books, whatever is helping people's upliftment and their ability to help again find them their truth.
So but people can order with you online. They
can connect with me and we can take care of all that too.
Okay, and we'll make sure we give that information out at the end.
Sure.
So I understand that you also do readings. So not only are you well versed in all the cards, but you are yourself a reader.
Right. When I opened my store up about 25 years ago, that's when I really started to do a lot of readings, right? And sometimes tarot, sometimes oracle, because there's a difference there.
Yes, there is. Yeah.
And lately I've started to do something new with crystals and the Crystal Ally deck. See, we're always evolving. We're always changing. And it's not that we're walking away from something necessarily. We're just fine-tuning and making it more us. For me personally, I had issues when I was younger, so I need to follow others' patterns and pathways like directly, like even step in their footprints.
Okay.
And as I get older and time goes, I'm a lot looser now and I have my own take on things. So I'm actually creating a totally unique, new, beautiful, inspired system.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Are you going to be teaching it?
Maybe.
Maybe. Okay.
Maybe. Yeah.
So you've been in this energy for a long time. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you had a dream. I just want to go back to this for a moment because I know a lot of people who watch this are interested to hear the how of it and also the why of it. So you had an idea about a metaphysical shop, something that you'd always wanted to have. Since how long ago? Like, was there a moment of this is my journey, this is my path, or has it always been there for you?
I think it's always been there in my multi-being background.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, from 25 years ago. No, I didn't really consider it. I just did a dream incubation and pop, there it came, and I went for it, right? And I was always missing after I sold my store with this aspect, so it's been percolating for a little while now. Yeah, so there wasn't one big instant for the retail. I just sort of, I think that's how some of my guides work with me. Right? If I'm, you know, they just sort of keep pushing and pushing, and it becomes more and more into my conscious awareness.
Yes.
This is the right thing.
Yeah.
And it usually, for me, that takes about a 3-step process. Like one day, and the second day, and sometimes that comes in the form of synchronicities.
Yes.
Which is absolutely my hallmark for knowing for myself that I'm on the right path.
Yeah. The power of 3. Signs, symbols, and synchronicities.
Ah,
this is part of what I teach in the Confident Healer, my Healer's course.
Yeah.
And actually that's where my students are right now. Looking at symbols and how those symbols show up for them repetitively in that power of 3. You know, the first time, interesting. Second time, curious. Third time, pay attention.
Yes. Yes.
Because this is how deep self, high self, spirit, whoever communicates with us, is through these things that catch our eye. This is what I believe as part of the way for us to have a different language of understanding what it is that is needed or required of us or from us, or that we've put in front of ourselves but maybe are not quite seeing it.
Yes.
Because we have free will, which is such a blessing as a human being.
Yes, I love that you teach your students that. And it's about getting them past the curiosity.
That's right.
Because that's where we can quickly veer off into other directions.
Yeah.
Where if we just hold the course steady,
that's right,
then we clearly know, okay, this is what it is. Because I've done the curiosity side zips myself, side trips myself. And I've gleaned great wisdom and pearls and all that from that.
Yeah.
But it wasn't necessarily necessary at the time.
Right.
And it's just trusting Creator, because we're just sparks of Creator.
That's exactly it.
I kind of see us as little candles.
Yeah.
with hearts carved on them. We're just sort of walking around and sharing our love and our flame and our passion with everybody, and that we're all in it together.
There's something that you said earlier when we were talking that sparked an acknowledgement in myself that I hadn't realized was waiting to be sparked. I have often said throughout my whole life a plea of, why can't we all just get along? You know, I look at the things that people do to one another. Why? It's not that hard to be kind to one another. Seriously, right? Why is it so hard? And then you said, let's see if I can remember the words exactly. You said, it's amazing to you how well human beings get along. And it's kind of the same thing, but it's the flip side.
Right.
So all these years I've been in this plea of, why can't we all just get along? Which is coming from a place of exasperation and sort of a helplessness of, I can't do anything about it when I see the ways that human beings can interact. What I hadn't appreciated until that very moment is the limitation that I've placed on my expectation of human beings. I didn't even realize I was doing it.
Ah, yes.
Right? But you flipped it for me, or I'm accepting the flip and realizing, right, okay, time to unpack the plea. And now, right, all those candles with little hearts on them. And I had that as an intellectual concept, that we all could get along. But what my feeling was coming from was a place of, we can't all get along.
Right.
We don't all get along. So thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for that. And I think I don't really know why we don't all get along. We are in emotional bodies, and so we are a little bit reactive, a little bit suction cuppy anyways. But I need people to help teach me lessons. I need something to kind of push against, to know who I am, and okay, where's my boundary, and for my own self-definition, so that I could be a better carrier for creator,
Right.
for instance. I'm not sure if we're
Yeah.
even meant to always get along, right?
And I think you're right about that. I know
Mhm.
you're right about that. And that reminds me of a thought that I had a long time ago, and I haven't spoken it in public. I think the only person I ever shared this with was actually my father. So I'm going to share it today, and we'll just see what the
Ah.
results are. We'll see how people react to this.
Okay.
Planet Earth, Gaia, whatever you want to call her, as an energy being herself, as a battery for energy. And we see this, we see it with lightning strikes. We understand that
Yeah.
this is what happens, right? That the Earth needs a charge. That's why we have lightning strikes. That's at the physical level. The Earth releases charges. That's at the physical level. That's earthquakes, that's volcanoes. A couple of years ago, I had this epiphany of, but wait, what about the energetic releases and the energetic, like what feeds the Earth energetically? And I was wondering, I've often wondered about geographical areas on the planet where war and strife and conflict just seem to find each other and breed for thousands and thousands of years. No one even knows why they're fighting anymore. But people are being born into that. If we want to get into reincarnation and why we choose certain paths in certain places. And I had this wonder, does the Earth actually require, at the human emotional level, for there to be conflict? So that there can be the balance of the non-conflict, right? Like after there's an earthquake, everything settles down, but nothing's the same. After a volcanic eruption, same thing, right? So similarly, I wonder if we are in such an energetic connection and all things are connected, then our emotional state has an impact on the Earth, but perhaps it's not meant to only be benevolent.
Right, yes. I hear you. That's fascinating.
Friction, right?
Yeah.
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 We'll see how other people respond to this idea that
maybe
there's a purpose for the conflict. And it's actually something that the Earth, it creates places energetically where that conflict at the human level would gather. And then that's a conduit for that chaos to come down into the Earth and be part of the Earth's energy systems.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm feeling something happening here.
Yeah.
We're creating a knowing here.
Yeah, I think we are too. How brilliant. What a wonderful insight. Yes, let's say Gaia creates her own experiences. Suddenly there's a volcano and a lava flow and oh look, there's more land, and in tens of thousands of years there'll be trees coming up and sandy black sand beaches or whatever it happens to be. You know, I think there's nothing new since the beginning.
It's all
and
recycled.
even Gaia is starborn.
Yeah.
And we are too. So we are here to walk the planet and enjoy the bounty and the beauty. I just love the planet, the Gaia, so much.
Yeah.
When I do my meditations and go deep into the earth and connect, there is nothing but love there.
Yeah.
In the center, energetically, that's what I feel.
Right.
So with all that love, there must be a reason for it. You know, there must be a reason, and I think it's to give us a safe container. Where we could walk through with things. There's all sorts of really interesting things we could talk about, like the Schumann resonances and the trees and how they communicate all around the world and help themselves.
And the mycelium.
Oh, the mycelium running, yes, absolutely. And all that. And so even though I might say if I didn't know you, there's still a little bit that we influence. Like every breath we're breathing in a molecule that say, Michelangelo breathed in.
They do it in Einstein's air. Dinosaur farts.
All of the above, right? All of the above.
Yeah.
It's just like a huge, big diffuser.
What a great analogy.
Yes.
I do a lot of work with diffusing with
yes,
essential
you do,
oils.
with
And
all
I just love that idea. Yeah, we're just diffusing our emotions up into a system that requires our emotions in order for the whole system to run.
Yeah.
Now, I want to make a caveat to that. It doesn't mean it's okay for people to treat each other badly or treat the planet badly. I'm not giving permission for people to shoot each other because Gaia needs chaotic energy. It's more a query and an observation of where we're at right now. One of my backgrounds is in geology. So if you'll bear with me for a moment.
Interesting, okay.
What we understand from the geologic point of view of the planet's evolution is that it is calming down. It's maturing to a point where we do not have as many volcanic eruptions as we have had in geologic time. So we're talking millions and millions of years here, not last week. We don't have as many massive earthquakes. We don't have as many meteor hits that we see the evidence of all over the
Mm.
planet.
Hmm.
At least from our perspective, our very
Interesting.
small, in the greater scheme of things,
Ah.
observations, right? So my not symbolism, analogy for this is that the species of human beings, we are on an evolutionary path, and at the moment we're in our teenage years.
Mm-hmm.
Most of us. So what do teenagers do? They push the boundaries, right? They ask questions. They stand up for things that they believe in, or they become completely despondent.
Mm-hmm.
They're chaotic. Teenagers are chaotic. They have that chaotic energy. And that energy is required as part of their own evolution. So individually, we go through these phases in life. As a species, I think we are as well. Right? So we've gone through the terrible twos, we've gone through the fours, we've stretched our legs through a few renaissances and other moments of inspiration as a species. We're at this place right now where we're in conflict because we're in teenage years. We're questioning, but we want the safety of what we knew before. We want structure, but we want freedom. And it's playing out all over the planet. It's playing out in number 45 down south from us. It's playing out in the conflicts in the Middle East. It's playing itself out. I'm curious what's going to happen in another 10,000 years when we move into our young adulthood, into the idealism of our 20s.
Right.
You know?
That's brilliant. Thank you
You're
for
welcome.
that. So maybe we can think of the Gaia as being like the wise woman.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Like the crone, as it were.
That's right.
She's maturing.
I get my goosebumps.
And we're just sort of catching up.
Yeah. Well, we are her children.
Yes, that's right.
So if she's our age, so I just turned 50, so I consider myself to be in my mid-mothering years. I'm not a young mother anymore, but my children are still at home. I'm not an older mother. I'm a mid-mother. And I'm wondering if that's about where Gaia is right now, or maybe a little bit farther ahead. Maybe there's a few grandchildren showing up already, but she's still growing.
Yes.
Into whatever her evolution is going to be. It's not a separate situation. It's just she's been around a little longer.
That's right. Yeah, a lot longer maybe than some of us, right?
We've only been here for about that long. You know those lines that they show you, and here's the Earth's history, and there we are. It's 5 to midnight, and we show up. Oh, what a lovely rabbit hole! I love the rabbit holes.
Oh yeah. It's fun to theorize,
isn't it? Though I feel like it brings us up. It raises our vibration, and we start tapping into universal truths.
Yes.
That we get glimpses of down here. And when 2 people or 3 people can get together and are in that same curiosity, we start to download little bits here.
Oh, we do. It's like the mysteries.
Yeah.
You know, and what I see it from my knowledge about the brain, and I went to the Monroe Institute for a year in Virginia. That was about 15 years ago or so.
How exciting.
And that was wonderful.
Yeah, I bet.
You know, to meet certain people there, right? And their hemisync model and a lot of this holographic sound, it's being exposed to frequencies like 1,000 hertz, 1,004 hertz. It raises up and the brain wants to average it.
Right.
So we are literally creating new neural pathways every second that we do. My brain is going to be different after we finish this. And it's happening in the moment.
That's right.
So why would we want to limit it? Or, you know, because we're afraid, because of our egos, because we want what's sure. Right? Because we need to be there. But there comes a point when just being here in my life as I know it now, we know there's more.
Yeah.
We might not know what it is, but we know there's more. So we're sort of looking around and trying to find out. And, oracle cards. Oh, what's intuitive massage? What's Reiki?
Yeah.
You know, what is that religion about? And we start broadening and broadening. And it's like the tree roots or the mycelium, we're all reaching toward another. Yeah. It's like doing the ancestral clearing work that I've been, taking part in. I don't need it, but I take a lot of things like this. And I think we go back to our parents, grandparents, add on Finnum. And eventually we're all going to get back to the same mother. Yeah. And essentially, we're all going to get to planet Earth as being our mother. Yeah. And that is something that really lights me up, and it's very exciting. Yeah. So all this separation falls away when we start exploring some of these other ways of looking at things and creating original content for ourselves.
And in a sense, that's what eases the illusion of isolation that a lot of people on the planet right now seem to be really struggling with.
Right.
This idea that I'm in my box, and next to me is someone else in their box, but I'm an individual. We're not going to communicate with each other. But what if you did?
Yeah.
Right?
Yes, that's right.
What if you did? Then maybe we could treat each other kindly. And maybe we would all get along. But then maybe that would be the end of the planet.
Well, at
So
least we would maybe start to understanding each other. This might be a good moment. May I tell a personal thing that happened to me?
Yes, please. Yeah.
I was in the woods with friends playing that old game, Kick the Can, and maybe kids still play it. It's a hide and seek game.
Yeah.
I was about 4 or 5 or 6, I don't know, and running, just me being me. And then suddenly I stopped. I was transfixed. I couldn't move a muscle.
Oh, wow.
And I was by myself in the woods. And then I noticed this huge bright white light that came down. Like it was just all through me and around me, and I was completely in the now moment, right? And a friend described it according to a song lyric from a musician.
Yeah.
Because of that white light, he said how I was describing it sounded like 1,000 crystal swans in a sky of suns.
Oh, wow.
And I call that brilliance.
Yes, yes.
It's sparkly, it's movement, it's alive, it's conscious. Yeah. And so I was standing there and this brilliance was all coming through me. And I knew that we were all connected. Like I got a mote, like a download that I'm still unpacking.
Okay.
You know, like 55 years later.
Yeah.
We're all connected. There's no difference between you and me and the pillow, the couch, the camera. And if I think it exists, like something solid, for instance, it's a temporary illusion.
Yes.
It's not perennial real like the brilliance is.
Right.
Right? And I also knew if I wanted anything, and at that age, you know, an ice cream
right.
or something, I knew it would have instantly materialized. Everything was there for me. I felt bliss, unconditional love. I knew I would never be alone. And that's what sort of got me on this thing, because we were talking about that. Yeah. I know that in the roots of my cells, I will never be alone. Yeah. And that brilliance and that download of universal love or whatever's Satori, who knows different names for it, right? Yeah. I felt home.
Wow.
And that is home for all of us.
Yeah.
And it was just beautiful. And I think I saw a little deer, a little fawn, and then all of a sudden it stopped as quickly as it started. Yeah. I thought, oh, that's cool. I guess everybody knows that. But guess what, Megan?
They don't. Well, they do, but they don't.
So I never told anybody. I thought I was catching up.
Right.
And in, you know, some ways, sure. Yeah. You know,
some ways,
sure. So, so that set me on the path of thinking everybody knows that, so everybody's nice to me. No one would try to steal from me or whatever it happens to be. So that clearly set my little feet on little path of learning about boundaries and victimhood. Right. Right, and separation. Right. I think we have to separate in order to come back again at times.
Well, that's symbolic in the way that we separate out from our mothers through the birth process. Separate out from friends, separate out from ideas, beliefs, religions. It's a constant. We're constantly doing that. Yeah. And for me, that's what expansion looks like. It's the cell that goes into more cells and more cells and more cells in order to expand. And each cell is still part of the whole, and also has its unique individual consciousness.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
that's right. I kind of see it like a dandelion puffer. You
know,
like the middle stem and the thing is creator, and how it goes out, and there's like maybe 100 me's having a life at the same time on different planes or dimensions or time parallels or whatever it happens to be. And the karma is when another life of mine is resonating in tune with this life. There's something in common there. Right. So it keeps coming up. So on those, say, parallel lives, I'm attempting to heal myself and bring myself into total coherence with that. And when I can and when I do, and then I get it, that karma stops happening. Or else with a Saturn return, it's like, oh, you know, it's presenting, but, you know, I've got it. Yeah. It's okay. You don't have to keep presenting to me.
Yeah, because it's been cleared.
because it's been cleared.
Yeah.
Because I understand that. And that's why it's amazing we get along as well as we do. Because you've got your own little dandelion puffer with a little wish umbrella
That's
thing,
right.
right?
That's right.
And we kind of, nudge up against each other.
Yeah.
So I think it key for me, it's about being compassionate for myself and forgiving myself. Ultimately, yeah, and just giving me the wiggle room to be a hall pass.
Yeah, exactly.
And that allows for other people too. There just starts to enter a largesse of spirit.
Yeah.
When we walk with something that we really believe in and know.
It's so true.
And that's when miracles can start to happen.
Yeah. Yeah. And that is the mystery and the medicine. Or the mystery and the miracle that becomes the medicine. Yes. Because medicine is not a bad word. Medicine is simply that which heals. So anything is medicine. Everything is medicine. Essential oils are medicine. Water is medicine. You and I having this conversation is medicine for someone who's going to listen to it and have an aha moment of their own. And they are going to be a different person. That's right. Like you were talking about.
Right. I love this, Megan, because sometimes we can get into hoarding sometimes. And
I've seen that happen.
Yeah, we ask people something and they're just not that forthcoming. It's not that I'm asking them to divulge details, but just asking a question. It's like, okay, so that's not the avenue for me to get what I'm looking for.
Right.
Maybe I already know it or I can find it out on my own.
Yeah.
Right? So I love doing the fairs and things because people come up and share all sorts of things.
Yes.
And it's beautiful. And even just walking down the street, I've stopped and had like 45-minute conversations with strangers. And we've had some wonderful connections. Yeah. And then we just go and probably never see each other again.
Not in this lifetime.
Not in this lifetime.
I call those check-ins.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Yeah. Two souls or parts of the same soul have a quick check-in. Maybe it's a chat in a coffee shop or on the bus, some random stranger, but they're not so random. And then you're good. You checked in. At the physical level. I think we're always checking in at the mental level, at the spiritual and emotional level, and dreaming and daydreaming and things like that, meditations. Every so often at the physical level, we want to have that, boom, I see you too, okay, see you next time, okay, bye.
Brilliant. I guess we're all soulmates.
I think we are.
In that, on that level of reality.
Yeah.
Right? And that's where we're getting to now. So it's things like the alternative, I don't even want to call them alternative practitioners anymore.
No, they're practitioners.
They're practitioners.
Health practitioners, healing practitioners. I had, when I was in the hospital with my father who passed away recently, and I was working on him, I was bringing in my oils and doing massage and doing energy work when he was in the ICU, and his lung doctor came in and she looks at me and she said, "Are you a medical practitioner?" I said, "Of a sort." She said, "What are you doing exactly?" I said, "I'm massaging his feet. I'm helping to move the fluids that are gathering, and it feels really good for him. And I'm using my antimicrobial and antibiotic essential oils." And she said, "Wow, I've never seen a family member do that before." She said, I thought you were being paid by the family to come in and take care of your father." Right?
Isn't that interesting?
So for me, it was about connection. Me and my father and I, being of the same energy, the same family line, the same choice to be with one another in this lifetime, is connection for me. Her experience of people who are in trauma is often that they isolate and they're afraid to touch the person who's in the coma or in the ICU. And they've got their own emotion that they're dealing with around that. And so it was interesting for me to observe her observation. What she walked in on and what she immediately assumed was happening. She was completely supportive about it.
Right.
Which was great.
Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah.
But yeah, that popped into my head as that connection disconnect.
That's very interesting, and that's again while it's a good reminder not to be judgmental or jump to conclusions about something. Yeah. Because you and I have a shared reality, but I see what's behind you. I see the picture and the lamp, but you necessarily don't. And it doesn't mean I'm right or wrong or you're right or wrong. Yeah. It's just our perspective and our view on things. Yeah. So let's give everyone a hall pass, really.
Exactly.
But stand strong in ourselves so it allows that person to know what's okay with me.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. So like when I do Reiki with people, I kind of check in with them. Is this okay? Do you want me to move that? How's the temperature in the room? Yeah. Because they're often not just going to ask. That's right. So we got to check in. We got to support. Right. Just a little bit of gentle support. And it's not a big deal. And it just comes naturally. Yeah. It's just being present with another human being.
Yeah. And seeing yourself reflected in that human being, I think.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Well, my relationships have all been my best teachers.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that brilliance thing
Right.
was huge, right? And a couple other things that have
Yeah.
happened along that lines.
Yeah.
But it's through the people that I learn, you know?
Yeah, that's why we're a social species,
Mhm.
I believe.
Yeah, yeah.
We're not meant to do this alone.
No.
We are meant to interact with each other. It's okay, of course, to have time for yourself in your own space, and then come back recharged into the collective energy, which takes us right back to the earlier conversation about Gaia and our contribution, or even our existence, because of what we can generate through our own energies.
Right, yes.
Chaotic, joyful, whatever it is, there's a reason we have these energies. So the whole conversation comes back full circle.
And it's all about personal choice and perspective.
That's
There's
right.
been some times when I assumed something
Mhm.
or made a choice that if you ask my higher self, they'd say, go for it. But it was, let's say, the scenic route that took me down a rabbit hole or whatever. So higher self will always say yes.
That's right.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's wanting the experiences and to gather and understand and know and grow, right?
Yeah.
But I think one thing that I ask myself if I'm not sure about something is, what would love do? Right?
Yeah.
I think maybe that's in your book there somewhere too.
It is.
It is, yeah.
It's what is my heart? This is listening to my heart above all other voices.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which those aren't my words. I think was it 2? Okay, we'll have to find the reference. I feel like it's The Hobbit or something. Following your heart above all other voices. Why do I think that that's what it is? Or one of those books. Anyhow.
But yeah.
It is that, but that's a process. That's a process of learning to trust.
Yeah.
You know, and we were talking earlier about the connection between all the chakras, between the energy systems in our body where we hold our experiences. We were talking about truth and trust. One has to be able to trust the heart's voice in order to move forward with whatever the guidance is.
Yeah, that's very true. And for me, I didn't trust myself because I was raised in a family that didn't foster trust, let's just say.
Right.
You know, and so when I was sort of receiving or getting something, I couldn't trust my receiver because I didn't know if, because I was just sort of had crumples within.
Yeah.
And so I wasn't too sure. And that's the beauty about using oracle cards is what they ultimately do is teach you to trust yourself. Some people say they're crutches and they distract you and they're a scenic route. But they like you said, they provide a focus. They're a lens. They're a system, like an English language. We need language.
Yeah,
right?
Can be a distraction, but it can also be the way in which we communicate.
Well, that's right. So it's like, oh, I'm feeling a little off about this relationship. I wonder what the best thing for me to do is. I'll pull a card.
Yeah.
And, oh, okay, there we go. Because I do believe that you can't pull a wrong card.
I agree.
You just can't.
I agree.
You just can't. And then if you take that step and go there, you learn to trust yourself. It's like, oh, I knew that.
That's right.
Sometimes it's confirmation about something.
That's often what it is. And it's that confirmation where the person realizes, oh, wait a minute, I already knew that. And actually, this brings us back to what we were talking about just moments before we started the cameras rolling. And I was saying that when I first started doing this as my work, I didn't use any tools at all.
Right.
I felt like that would be cheating. I had this story about that. I just show up and be the channeler. It was exhausting because all the information was coming through me with nothing to break up my intensity. And for the receiver of the information, there wasn't anything for him or her to look at, to hold, to connect to.
Right.
And we know that the human brain is able to focus for about 90 seconds before we flash onto something else. A different thought strays in, So they're not rooted in the information that they're receiving if it's just being spewed at them.
Right, yes.
So I started using cards, and I'd worked with cards my whole life, but I hadn't used them in this capacity. So I started using cards just to see what a difference. Not only for me and my energy levels, because now I'm receiving as well as giving.
Right.
There's always something that comes through in a card for the reader as well as for the person who's receiving the information.
Very true.
It also allowed a different focus. So I could give a channeling, and then we'd pull a card, and the card is the exact same thing that we just said. Now the person believes it.
Yes.
It's anchored in them now because they've got the evidence.
Right.
And we are an evidence-based species. We like to see, to confirm what we know to be true.
Yep, the divine manifestation.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So then I became a total fan, and I had them everywhere. That's what my basket's down here, but that's less than half of what I used to have. And you know what's fun is as we were talking about love, this is the card that I pulled.
That's beautiful. It says Heart Thoughts.
It says Heart Thoughts. This is the Heart Thoughts card. So the day I took this photograph, and let me just share with everybody, the photographs that are in the Heart's Journey are all my own photography. These are hearts that I found in nature after I'd said to the universe, I need a sign that I'm following my heart above all other voices. And the universe has a great sense of humor, and it became hearts.
Mm-hmm.
When this cloud was in the sky, it was like this. We were just pulling into the dock at Main Island. There wasn't a single other cloud anywhere in the sky.
Ah.
And I snapped the photo, and then it was gone. And that's what Heart Thoughts is all about. That's the symbolism behind this particular card. And it says, you have no control over love. It has its own life force coming and going as it pleases. Let yourself float above your preconceived ideas of what love should be and simply be in love.
Be in love. We are love.
Yeah.
We are the blessings.
That's right.
We don't really need to say, I bless you with, because just with us, our little candle light.
That's right.
We bless. And what's interesting is that card 16, which reduces down to a 7, and
Yeah.
the numerologist in me always does that.
Yes.
And 7 is about divinity, about love.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you look at it geometrically, you cannot have a perfect 7-sided figure.
Mm-hmm.
It always goes to decimal point infinity.
Right.
So you can't like lock it down.
Yeah.
You can't like, I'm going to love you now.
Yeah.
It doesn't quite work
That's
like
right.
that. The more you can just let go
Mm-hmm.
and surrender to it, the juicier it will be.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
And that can take many lifetimes.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Practice and learning and bumping up against other people and having hearts broken and having hearts mended and moving through all those experiences. And we do that by connection with each other. We do that by the tools that we use, the beliefs that we have.
Yeah.
That's the roadmap.
That's the roadmap. That's
Yeah.
beautiful. I know some lessons I'm repeating from other lives.
Mhm.
I've carried them through with me because I
Yeah.
don't believe we're born with a blank slate.
Right.
You know, that we come in sort of front loaded.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Teresa's going to learn about this.
Yeah.
The being called Teresa is going to learn about this and that, the other thing.
Yeah.
And there's some things I was born into this life, like I will never cheat on a partner.
Mhm.
I never have,
Mhm.
never will. That's just not part of my makeup. Now, what's interesting was that because I fully learned that lesson on both sides of the coin,
Right. Maybe.
right, that I've cheated on someone in another life, but I've been cheated on,
Right.
and I just know that's not a good choice for my own integrity
Mm-hmm.
and my spiritual truth for who I am.
Right.
So that's a solid known. And I've known that since I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
so I think that we bring through blessings and maybe burdens.
Mm-hmm.
That could be our own, or it could be ancestral,
Yeah.
genealogical, or
Absolutely.
the ancestral energy, like the trauma and the effect on the human body,
Yeah.
right? I was a nurse for a while, and what they taught us is that the mother and her ability to integrate protein, that gets born into the child. So
Right.
so the mother's low point maybe at that point is the child's high point.
Right.
That child didn't do anything to reject protein, however was born in there. That child would never say, I want to not be able to absorb much protein,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? But that was part of the lesson on a soul level. So
Yeah.
it's almost like apples and oranges, and we can get those confused sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
For what level of
When
me
they're
is
crossbred.
crossbred, and it's like, okay, what level are we speaking at?
Yeah.
So sometimes there looks like there's miscommunications, but there actually isn't.
Yeah.
So again, just step back, take it all in, and I think communication is a fabulous thing that they probably should teach in school,
Mm-hmm.
like nonviolent communication
yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah. Well, they do to some extent. They have a WITS program.
Oh, okay.
Which is use your wit. So they teach the kids from a very early age to stand their ground, then walk away. Like use their I statements, and then if it's looking like it's beyond their capacity or their control, walk away. Don't engage. Yeah. So a lot of that is being
good.
taught at certain levels in certain places, and I think organizations as well, especially with the whole Me Too movement and this ninth wave of feminism,
Yes.
where there's an accountability piece that wasn't asked of before. I think before we were looking for recognition and acknowledgement. Now we're looking for accountability.
Yeah.
So a lot of organizations are bringing in communication experts who can speak a different kind of language in order to educate people about the power of words.
Ah, that's beautiful.
And how
Thank
to
you
speak
for
differently.
Yeah, thank you for sharing,
Yeah.
Megan. I didn't know that. So that's another sign of Gaia maturing.
Right?
Exactly. You know?
Exactly.
I mean, I was born
Yeah.
way back when, and I had all these lessons sort of built up
Yeah.
in my life. But some of the people that are born now,
Mm-hmm.
maybe they don't have to do those certain lessons where they could take it to a whole new level. It's up one level, but then it's a new spiral.
That's right.
And just a whole other perspective. And it's
Yeah.
a pretty exciting time.
It is an exciting time.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, I know that you and I could talk for hours,
Mhm.
and perhaps we'll get the opportunity to do so again. You're welcome back anytime onto the
Oh.
show. I'd love for people to know how they can get a hold of you, your shop, your readings. Do you do that
Mhm.
as a service for people as well?
Yeah.
Great. So let us know, please, how we can find you.
Yeah, absolutely, Megan. Thank you for that. Hi, everybody. Teresa Klan. That's Klan. And I live in Victoria here, and I attend all the different fairs and festivals and even crystal shows where you'll see my booth with a big, beautiful tree being held by two hands in the brown trunk there. My website is www.teresaklan.com. That's TeresaKlan.com. Facebook, Tarot with Teresa K. And that's probably enough. Oh,
LinkedIn?
I am
Or-
on LinkedIn. I'm not that great at tech. I don't
Okay.
shine in that department, but I've got some good coaching on that. I have a Twitter and Instagram, but not quite there.
So how you would like people to find you?
Yeah, through my website.
Through your website. Okay,
Yeah,
perfect.
yeah, through my
Perfect.
website. I do Reiki. I'm getting a certification, elemental space clearing, taught by Denise Lynn. So I need certification. So I have to do a bunch of free sessions for people. You don't need it, but it's not just clearing, it's bringing in blessings as well.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and I do Reiki, and I could do it at your home, or I have a portable table, you know, so that makes it easy. Or you can come to my home, and there's online booking calendar as well. And
Great.
And I would love to meet you, and we could share our truths together.
Oh, I love that. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, here's to sharing our truths together. Thank you so much for being with Teresa and I here today. I hope you enjoyed our conversation. I know I did. Please click below to subscribe. The more people who subscribe to our channel, the more people get to see our channel. I'm not a huge fan, I'm going to say this, my caveat, I'm not a huge fan of the whole remind people to subscribe, but we do have to work within the technology, and the fact of the matter is, the more subscribers, the more we rank, the more people get to see us. And if this kind of information and programming that we're bringing to you really matters to you and you want to share it with others, just hit the subscribe button. Or just come back anytime and watch. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you,
Have
everybody.
a wonderful day. Have a magical, mysterious day. Magical, mysterious, medicinal day.
Medicinal day. And share your heart thoughts.
Yeah.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.